Okay, who's excited for this? I am. I'm excited. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is a very different type of video. I've never done this before, so I'm excited. I'm also hungry, so I'm going to be doing a mukbang. Probably said that wrong, but that's okay. Basically, you probably all know what this is. Basically, people sit down and eat and talk, and that's the video. So I didn't cook in the video because I thought that's a lot of work. But I did make some food. I've got some kale and white bean soup, which is hella delish. And I've got some pasta with a creamy, like sun-dried tomato sauce. That's an Oshi Glows recipe, and I will put that one down below because it's actually so good. And then I've got my drink, which is Croix, or as I like to call it, Croix, just because why not? And it's the peach pear flavor. This is the best bottle, I think. Yeah, so I'm just gonna eat and talk to you guys, and I hope you like this kind of video. If you do, I'll definitely do more in the future because I love doing, like, trying new things and stuff with my channel. So let's get to eating first. We're gonna try this pasta. Oh yeah. If you guys don't know Oshi Glows, you need to follow her. It's so good. Literally everything I've ever made from her cookbook and her blog is like phenomenal. Oh hell yeah. Okay, so about the LaCroix, because I feel like anytime I mention to someone that I like it, they're like, yeah, of course you like it. Like, it's such a fad. And it is. Okay? But in my defense, I never really grew up drinking juice or drinking pop or drinking like anything other than water. I didn't drink milk as a kid. Like, I really just drank water. But I do really like carbonated water. And so we used to buy carbonated water like all the time. But this is just better. It's like literally the same as carbonated water. It just has like the essence of whatever it is. So this one's peach pear, and it's so good. In Canada, or at least like in Vancouver, we only have like 4 flavors, I think. And I've tried all of them. They're all bomb. Diggity. But I know in the States they have way more. So I'm thinking hitting it up and trying it. But seriously, if you like bubble water, like, you'll like this. Or carbonated water, or tonic, or whatever you want to call it. So good. Okay, so the first thing I really wanted to talk about in this video is my last video that I posted, which is my I'm a Feminist and You Should Be Too video. If you follow me on Snapchat, you probably saw that I had like a little rant about that video because I got a lot of negative comments, and I was kind of expecting it in a lot of ways because I know that it's controversial for whatever reason, even though I don't really think it should be, but it is. I don't know. I don't really know why people get that way, to be honest, but definitely people who like don't normally watch my videos were commenting and like creating arguments with like everyone in the comment section. And there was like one particular person who was just like leaving like hateful comments on literally everything anyone said, and I was just like, I'm not here to make you think you have to think the same way as me. I'm just here to like express my opinions. And I know the title of that video was kind of like sassy maybe, but if you actually watch the video, like I said so many times in that video, like, you don't have to use a label, you don't have to say that you're a feminist necessarily, but if you believe what I believe, then, you know, we're on the same page basically. And the reaction from that really surprised me, and it made me feel really sad at first. Like, I felt kind of upset that people would act so negatively and like rudely towards someone who was putting their opinions out there. It also made me think, like, after when I had like recovered from like all the negativity and like having to really monitor the comments, like that whole day I had to really monitor the comments and like block people, and I don't like to do that, and I don't normally have to do that. But after that, I sort of thought, wow, maybe this just shows to me that this video actually is needed, and that people really do need to hear, you know, like, there obviously is a problem basically still, was what I kind of got to at the end. I was like, okay, so clearly stuff is still fucked up, and yeah. So, you know. I love soup. It was disappointing. And it was also eye-opening. Like, I know some people commented who always watch my videos, and I see you guys in the comments, and I reply to you guys all the time in the comments. And those people, like, I took those comments more seriously. Like, I was like, okay, cool, like, this person genuinely is expressing their opinion or is genuinely wanting to educate people. But the random men that were just commenting on it, yeah, it made me realize that, like, I definitely have a point. And, like, yeah, that what I had to say actually does still need to be said. Okay, I should just say, if you haven't seen the video, none of this is going to make sense, so maybe just go watch the video. But a lot of people also said in the video, like, as women, they never felt disadvantaged. And I mentioned this in my Snapchats too, and that just, like, blows my mind. I feel like our disadvantage is so just, like, worked into society that we don't even really realize it. But it doesn't have to necessarily be, like, super blatant things like, oh, you can't have this job because you're a woman. People aren't going to say that to you. I would say that the biggest thing for myself is just, like, harassment from people and people expecting me just to, like, be okay with it or, like, not have it impact me. Like, you know, because I'm a female, I get catcalled or I get whatever, and I'm supposed to just, like, be okay with it. Even more so, like, I purposefully dress a certain way when I'm walking by myself, so that doesn't happen. I shouldn't have to do that. Like, I shouldn't have to dress in a way that doesn't encourage these behaviors. Like, I should be able to dress however the fuck I want and have no negative repercussions of that and not have to take responsibility for someone else being a dick and not being able to control themselves. So that's, like, the biggest thing for me. But I also know women who haven't been hired for jobs because the fear of them getting pregnant. You know, when you're, like, in that stage of your life, like mid to late 20s and into your early 30s, like, companies don't want to hire you because then there's a potential that you might need to go on mat leave. And it's just really, like, those things, I think they're so ingrained in our society that a lot of time you don't question it. But if you, like, really sit back and you really analyze, like, even how you're raised by your family, like, your parents may love you and they may, you know, be, like, the greatest parents on earth, but they still probably have raised you in a very gendered way. And that's just normal. That's just how people do it. But there's still disadvantage there. So that was, like, the big thing I want to talk about in this video. But I don't want this to be, like, a downer video. So let's move on from that topic. I mean, I'm totally open to everyone's suggestions and everyone's thoughts, and I want to hear what you guys have to say. But, and the other thing too was, like, a lot of people were saying how there's so many, like, fucked up things within feminism. I totally agree. And again, if you watch that video, I stated in the video, lots of fucked up things have happened within feminism, and I don't agree with it. There's different types of feminism that I would not ever identify with because they're racist or they're whatever they are, homophobic, whatever. And I think it's really, like, sad that people base their opinions solely on the actions of extremists and people who don't actually represent the masses. Like, yeah, there could be a handful of extremists out there, and there definitely are in every kind of construct. Like, in religions, there's gonna be extremists, people who make you afraid of those people that identify with that thing, and you can't let that shape your whole understanding of something. You know what I mean? I think that's foolish, and I think that it's also really close-minded, and I'm not down for that life. I think a lot of people just clicked on that video to be hateful. I think that really happened, and I think that's really sad. And again, I think that just proves that there are still things that need to happen. There is still change that needs to happen. If you think that you can go and click on some fucking young girl's video and be a terrible person and bully everyone in the comments, like, Jesus Christ, we all need help, straight up. Okay, moving on. I don't want to talk about that anymore. What I do want to talk about is something I mentioned in a video a couple weeks ago, but it's about honey. So yeah, being vegan, honey is, like, really a no-no. Like, that's not considered vegan or whatever. And when I first went vegan, I totally stayed by that. And I wanted to do my own research to formulate my own opinion. I don't know if you guys are into horoscopes and stuff, but I personally am, and I really think that for most people, not for all people, but for most people, their horoscope really does make a lot of sense. So if you want to know more about me, honestly, just look up the definition of Aries, and that is literally me. Not all of it is very positive. I feel like Aries has, like, the most, like, negative connotation in, like, the description of, like, the kind of people they are, but I don't really care. But I'm very stubborn, and that's like part of who I am, and I want to formulate my beliefs based on my beliefs. Like if someone tells me like this is the way it is, I'm not going to believe that that is actually the way it is until I have found proof to show that that is the way it is. So I did some research on bees, and I definitely found some stuff that I didn't like. You guys probably know there's like a honeybee problem. There's not a lot of honeybees left in the world, but honeybees also are what pollinate and like make everything grow essentially. So without honeybees, we have no way of, I don't know why I'm saying honeybees, just like bees. We have no way of growing anything, our vegetables, our flowers, our just our food in general. In my idea, my first thought was, okay, well then obviously we need to continue to buy honey products to encourage the repopulation of this species, right? Like that makes sense. I watched a few videos of like how they do like big bee centers, how they like cut the queen's wings so she'll like stay in the hive and like not leave. But personally, I have never bought honey from like a big company. I don't know where you guys are from in this world, but where I'm from, there's a ton of local honey. Like where I was growing up, like an hour away from downtown, like Vancouver, where I live now, there were like local honey like by the fucking dozen. Like you could get local honey so easily. You could literally go to the farm and buy the honey, see the fucking bees flying around, and I can tell you right now, none of their wings were clipped. The queen's wings were not clipped. My thing with honey is I will have it if it's local, and if I've done research on the farm and I know the farm, like as I said, I grew up eating a lot of local honey, or not a lot, but you know, like on toast and stuff. And so if I have local honey, you know, I'll definitely eat it. I won't eat like mass-produced honey, like the ones in like do they come in bears? Like I wouldn't eat that. So yes, I will eat honey, again, within those requirements, because to me, it's not cruel. You know, no one's coming to harm. The bees are just doing what they naturally would do, and as humans, we're just taking advantage of what they have to offer, which I think is actually kind of amazing. Yeah, in a way I can see it how it's like kind of cruel to take away the honey, but if you're gonna get into that, then like everything we eat is cruel, because if we don't eat, you know, the kale and the fucking leaves or whatever, like the birds would eat it, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, if you get too into it, it's just kind of, it gets to the point where it's like, okay, well then can we eat anything without anyone not coming into harm? Do you know what I mean? Like, but honey's not something I eat often, like at all. I probably eat honey like a couple times a year, but like if someone makes something and it has local honey in it, like yeah, I'm gonna eat it, because yeah, again, I don't see that as cruel personally. I know, and I know there's a lot of like different thoughts about that, but that's just my opinion. And again, I love sharing my opinions. People sometimes don't really like it that much, but that's just me. And if you want to like educate me, be like, hey girl, actually it's still really cruel, like I'm open to hearing your opinions, but like that's so far what I have figured out on my own. So that's kind of my thoughts on honey. Like it's one of those kind of like gray areas in veganism. Like obviously meat is very obvious, and obviously dairy and eggs is very obvious, like how it's cruel, but like honey is sort of one of those things where it's like, like are you really putting that animal at a disadvantage? Like are you really harming that animal? I don't know the answer to that, but that's sort of where I've like how I've come up to my position on honey. Okay, what else? Oh, I don't remember what I was wanting to talk about. Okay, so one of my most frequently like commented on videos that I still get comments to this day, even though I don't remember how long ago I made this video. Hold on, let me check. Yeah, so December of 2014, I made a video titled Dealing with Stress, Anxiety, and Depression, My Story. And that was almost 3 years ago now, and I remember that, making that video and it being like really hard for me to film, and I remember being really emotional, and I remember thinking like, oh my god, like my family's gonna see this, because I really thought, like I really genuinely thought I was depressed. But now, actually having been around people who have suffered with depression and like actually knowing more about it, I know that I definitely was never depressed. And so getting comments on that video, people being like, oh, this is so helpful, and oh, this advice is so great, it's sort of it's sort of frustrating because I almost want to go back and be like, hey, like, actually, no, I'm okay, like, or no, I wasn't okay. I was okay. I was just dealing with a lot of stress and stuff. You know, your first year of, like, university or college or whatever, it's really hard to transition, and I think that's what that was. Like, I was just feeling so stressed, and so I thought it was depression, but it definitely wasn't. And I still get comments, like, to this day of people being like, this has helped me so much, like, your story is so similar to mine, and I'm glad that that video has been able to help people, but it's definitely, like, one of those videos I make where I look back on it and I'm like, I shouldn't have posted that, because I feel like if I did that video now, the way I would approach it is so different than how I did 3 years ago. And so, yeah, sometimes that happens, like, okay, I just swallowed a whole fucking noodle whole and it hurt. I definitely have never been depressed, but I definitely have anxiety, and I definitely am, like, the most stressed out person I probably ever have met, and that's just because I'm, like, so high strung, like, everything makes me stressed. I wish I could be more helpful to people who are really suffering with that, because I know how hard it can be. But also, some of the things I say in that video, like, I definitely would say to people who I know who are depressed, or people I know who are struggling with mental health, like, I would definitely still say some of the things I said in that video, like, you have control. Like, even if you feel like you don't have control, you do. And just reminding yourself of that, like, when you can. For me, with my stress, that helps me. But you guys want me to do more videos like this? I'm, like, talking so much that I can't even eat. Like, I'm gonna go have to eat lunch, like, off camera. But I'll link both the recipes for these down below so you guys can check them out, because they're hella delicious, okay? Also, don't like talking with my mouth full, so maybe, like, this isn't the best kind of video for me to make. My legs are, like, breaking, so I'm, like, trying to find a way to sit where it doesn't, like, cause me a lot of physical harm. The last thing I want to talk about is, I guess, just being on YouTube in general, because I've kind of talked about that throughout the video. Being on YouTube has been great for me. Like, actually, like, it has been such a good experience for me growing up to have an outlet, to have, like, a place where I can just express myself, say whatever the fuck I want, and, like, do whatever I want. And I don't think of myself as a very creative person. I think one of my negative traits is that I belittle myself a lot. I think a lot of people do. Like, I put down myself a lot, even just, like, in my head. Again, I think we all do this, but I definitely consider myself worse at things than I consider myself good at things, if you know what I mean. Like, I definitely would say to you, like, I'm not a creative person at all. But having this YouTube channel is creative, even though it may not seem like it to some people. To me, sometimes I don't see it as creative. But it has been a creative outlet for me, which I've needed, like, seriously. Especially over the last, like, couple years, like, moving away from home, moving to a new city, moving to a new country. Like, that was such a serious struggle for me, and you guys witnessed it. It was amazing. And I now get to go back and watch and, like, remember what my apartment looked like, and remember, you know, what it was like being there, how lonely I was. Like, I was seriously lonely. I was so anxious. And I remember, like, when I filmed videos talking about, like, moving out and stuff, and how I was like, oh, like, I don't even feel homesick. Like, that is so not true. And I think in the moment, I actually believed that I wasn't homesick, because it just made it easier to wake up in the morning telling yourself, like, oh, I'm not homesick, I'm fine. But I was so homesick. Like, I was too afraid to shower when, like, Patrick wasn't home, and I was, like, so afraid, and I was so anxious, and I, like, would just stay home all day. And I remember one day I just got out of bed, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. Like, I need to go do something, anything. So I went and I got a job, because I'm a badass bitch. Just having this channel and being able to look back on that, looking back on when I was in high school is, like, super cringy for me, but it's interesting still. Like, that's who I was, and it's documented, like, the evolution of Emilie, basically. And I love that. Like, what a gift that is, to be able to look back and see who I was and compare it to who I am now, and also be super hyper aware of the fact that I'm not going to be who I am now, like, 5 years from now, probably. So I love this channel. It's a very safe place for me. I don't know what the right word is. I'm quite, like, controlling with, like, this channel. I want to be safe. Like, I want it to be a safe place, not only for me to be able to post what I want, but for you guys to come and like be able to comment whatever you want, or to feel comfortable to like DM me, which I just realized what DM means. What does it mean? I can't remember. Direct message? Is that what it is? Yeah, that's what I mean. For you guys to like DM me and like message me on YouTube, on Twitter, well actually, you know what, don't message me on there because I never check my YouTube email and I never check my Twitter, but on Instagram especially, like I've gotten a lot of messages from you guys on Instagram and on Snapchat, and it makes me feel so good that you feel comfortable to let me know that you're watching, or to let me know that you're struggling, or to ask my advice. Like, what an honor that is, honestly. And every comment I get where people are like, oh, like, you've been so helpful to me, or every comment I get where they're like, I love you, like, you're just so great, like, it does make my heart feel so good. Like, it makes me feel so good about this little place that we've created, and it's small, and it's a small community, but I'm, like, so appreciative of all of you guys. And I know this mukbang was all over the place. But it's fun, right? Like, this feels like what I want my channel to feel like. We're sitting down having a conversation, and that's what this channel is, seriously. How I've been thinking about doing a podcast or something because I think it would be really fun. Right now I don't have a lot of time, but I'm planning on graduating soon, so once I graduate I would love to start a podcast, or do like more mukbang videos for now, or like more sit down kind of just chit chat kind of videos. Yeah, let me know if you guys want to see those. And that's pretty much it. I haven't even finished my food, but like honestly you guys, I'm talking way too much. I'll just take one more bite of soup and then I'm literally leaving. I'm also impressed I didn't spill. Not even once. Thanks guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this in the future, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!